welcome. Happy Nurses Week to everyone who is joining us. My name is Amy Carr, and welcome to our second Worldwide Nurse Roundtable Q&A. We appreciate our nurse ambassadors who have been so kind to give us their time. We are super thankful to you, and we are excited today to really talk about some of the second part of the journey that you go on, and to hear from our very own worldwide nurses who are in process. So let's start by letting the nurses on the panel introduce themselves to you, and let's start with Ionela.
Hello, I'm from Romania. I work as a nurse in a hospital for pulmonology disease. I have been working in this hospital since, almost 20 years ago. And I will go in the States to work in Tennessee, actually in Cookeville, Tennessee.
Thank you, Ionela. We may have McLean join us, but he is having a little bit of trouble joining. So let's go to Cephas.
Here, I'm Cephas Yao Nomenyo, currently in Ghana, working at the emergency department. I have about 9 years experience in nursing, and I'm currently waiting for my embassy interview.
Awesome. And then let's go to Chuck.
Hello everyone. My name is Chuck Roberto, and you can call me Chuck. I'm from Philippines, and I've been working as an OR nurse and also ward nurse at the same time for more than 4 years now. And I must say that I love the work environment since I have supportive colleagues, and also I love the working space. It's not the toxic as well. And I will be working also in the Tennessee State. Same with Enola. I think it will be in Cookeville Regional Medical Center as well. And shout out now, and also to my friends, Matt and Rain. I think they're watching. Yeah, sorry. I think that's all.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody again for being here today. So I'm going to start asking questions, the questions that we think that you want to know. But if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and we will be so happy to answer your questions live with this nurse panel. I just want to start by pointing out again that Ionela and Cephas are both waiting for an embassy interview, probably like a lot of other people watching. And Chuck has submitted his DS-260, so he's like right there, like, almost in the same spot. So, so almost at the end, just at the part where they're waiting, mostly patiently. Okay, so this is Nurses Week, and the theme of Nurses Week this year is Nurses Make the Difference. How are you making a difference as a nurse today at your hospital? I guess part one. And then part two, how do you believe your USRN career will impact your life? And maybe let's start with Ionela.
Well, to be a nurse, it was and it is my biggest wish, because I wish to be a nurse since I was a child, and I see that this job really fits me. And I can see something else doing nowadays, because I do everything with patience. I do with implication, with dedication, and I really like to believe that I do a big difference to my job, because I never leave from my job until I'm completing my tasks. And I like when I leave the job, all my work starts at the highest level, and I like the patients to feel sorry because I leave and just waiting for me to come back at my job. About the second part of your question, I really believe that the States is a good opportunity for my career growth, and I hope in the States I can achieve more of knowledge and experience doing my work better and better daily.
Okay, great. Thank you. Um, let's go to Cephas.
Yeah, with the since since I completed my first level education diploma in nursing in 3 years in Ghana here. I was registered with Nursing and Midwifery Council of Ghana, and since then I've been imparting a lot of lives back in Ghana, working with my patients and taking good care of them, making the extra mile to care for them makes people really like my job. And even before I started the US journey, patients will say, "Wow!" Especially those who from the diaspora, like from US, who are based in US and come to Ghana, they will say, "Ah, you can do well in US. So why would you take that journey?" I said, "Wow!" So I hit to those advice and I started a journey. And I read a lot about the US and I realized with the technology and the modern facilities over there, I'll be able to develop professionally and then also make a better living for my family. That's why I take the journey.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And then how about you, Chuck?
Well, I believe we nurses can make a difference by doing extra mile to our patients, just like on what I'm doing in OR or in operating room. If a patient's still waiting for the surgeons or if there's like a delay on their operation, I usually talk to them and expressing, letting them or concerns, and sometimes share their experiences. And it's good to hear or to listen to their stories. And I believe through small talks and conversations, it alleviate their anxiety and also the pressure that they have. And at the same time, it also aids to normalize their vital signs. So it's like I'm hitting two birds with one stone by just doing those extra mile for as long as within the scope of my duty or responsibility. And regarding with the U.S. career, I believe that it will greatly make a difference of my journey since I will also be exposed to a diverse community wherein it will allow me to discover different culture as well. And other than that, I will be able to experience. I've never experienced here in my country, for example, in the hospital, since there will be like there will be like advanced technologies such as the machines, the equipments, and those instruments that are being used in the OR. And lastly, of course, the salary, of course, it will help me to be able to maybe to buy my or to build my dream house or my dream car in the future, and maybe it could also help me to support my family as well.
Okay, awesome. It sounds like
I
for
think that's
everyone, patient care at home, like at right now, and your job, taking great care of patients and making them feel at home, comfortable, at ease is one of the best parts and how you make a big difference. And I think that's so important for anybody who has a friend or family or loved one who has been in a place where they need a great nurse. It makes a huge difference. So thank you to each of you for the care that you give all the time today, and for all the nurses around the world and in the U.S. So important, and just want to take a minute to acknowledge that nurses, if we hadn't already figured it out, are so important to the healthcare system. Also, just want to take a second. There's people watching from so many different countries. So I see there's people from the Philippines, several people from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, Ghana, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Jamaica. Like lots and lots of countries tuning in today. That's awesome. Please keep telling us where you are. And again, if you have questions, we will make sure to answer your questions in just a little bit. So keep putting them in the chat. And I think Jessica mentioned that she agrees with stuff is about like the new technology and knowledge. And I think Chuck mentioned that too, for that you'll all learn about from the US, from a new role. So awesome. Okay, so the next question is, so I think you're like lots of waiting that's happening. While you're waiting for your embassy interview and for the next steps in the process, how are you preparing for your, or how have you prepared so far? How are you preparing for your clinical transition of practice? And maybe let's start with Cephas for this one.
Okay. I currently am waiting for embassy interview, and then what I've been doing is to keep consistently working at the bedside and care for my patient as well to like get the interview date and travel. So, and also I keep on taking some short online courses to be able to be up to date with nursing practice so that when I get to the state, I won't be found wanting. And moreover, I have seniors and colleagues who are already in the state. I keep on talking to them in most cases to get educated on the nursing in US and then to be able to know what to expect when I get to the state. And also sometimes put some questions to my case managers so that I can get some answer and then get familiarized with my new environment, the new environment I'll be finding myself soon. So that's how I'll be preparing to meet my new job demands in the States in the near future.
And Cephas, how did you find these online classes that you're taking?
Okay, when you go, there's one we do in Ghana here. There's a university in the UK who offers online courses for people in Ghana, sometimes 3 months, 6 month courses, sometimes 3 weeks. It depends on what course you are taking. So we do that, and then they give us certificates that qualify us to even work in the UK. So I'll be taking that course, and then the BLS and ACL courses that are being done online, I try to take them as well.
Okay, awesome. It's great information. Okay, Chuck, how about you?
Right now, I'm designated in a med search area, so I'm trying also to learn other skills, other than OR skills as well, so that I could also be familiarized, like in bedside, like doing vital signs, other skills like inserting NGD, and other skills that I need to know, so that I could also expand my skills. But of course, I'm also having a duty also in OR, so that I won't lose my OR skills as well. And since I'm also asking nurses who are working in USA, so that I would know what would I expect once I get there. And they said that it's more on circulating nurses, or as a circulating nurse, not more on scrub nurse. So I need also to be exposed more to OR cases as well. And I'm planning to have like trainings related to operating room, so that I could enhance more my skills.
And Chuck has a secret
And
weapon
and
in the US too, right? Chuck, he has a sister who's already working as a nurse
yeah,
in the US too, right?
that's correct. Yes,
Meeting.
that's why I keep on asking them regarding with the setup as well, since we will be working in the same hospital.
Awesome. And welcome to McLean. McLean, we're so glad that you are here. Let's just take a second and maybe McLean, we're gonna let you introduce yourself to the panel, and then we'll start asking you questions too.
Okay, it's good to be here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Okay, my name is McLean Maria. I am a registered nurse currently practicing in Zimbabwe. And I'm looking forward to relocating to the States, where I'm going to be at Genesis Medical Center in Silvis, Illinois.
And McLean has a visa, right? He's getting ready to travel to the US.
Yes, I got my visa and I'm going to be traveling in a few weeks.
Yeah. So for everyone who's been waiting, it is real. It will happen. And McLean has been waiting, and now he is very close to the finish line.
Yeah, I'm also almost by the finish line.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back to our question, and maybe we'll go to Yonella and then McLean. But Yonella, how are you preparing, or how have you prepared to transition your clinical practice?
To answer to your question, I will just mention two very important things. One of them is to keep working to the bedside, to try to do my skills, my professional skills, very good, asking my doctors everything what I see and what is not so clear for me. On the other hand, I want to mention about this clinical practice, actually taking courses. Although I have been studying for to be a nurse, 3 year in a college and then 4 years in university. Still, every year I'm taking online classes in my country. But what I want to say it's about NCLEX exam, which helped me a lot to gain a lot of knowledge, to see the American side and what you have to know when you're gonna be there and how you should apply some rules. You know what I'm talking about.
I think we might be losing Yanela just a little bit.
Okay, am I back?
Yanela, I feel like we've lost you for. Okay, there you go.
So I don't know if where it stopped. For going in the States, um, I check a lot online. I take some online classes. Even helped me a lot to see and to gain information about uh, things which are very important, like applying some rules when you administer. Am I losing connection?
No, you're good. You're good.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now you're frozen. Let's move on to McLean. Now, McLean, tell us, like, what have you done to prepare for your clinical transition to practice?
Oh, I didn't get you.
What have you done to prepare for your
Oh,
transition
okay.
to transition your clinical practice to the US?
Okay. For the past 3 years, I think 3 years or 3 months, somewhere there. I've been working in the MedSearch department, and having done the NCLEX examination in preparation for my transition to the US. I think that's in a big way helped me so much because it exposed me to so many things which I didn't know previously. Obviously, having gone through the 3 year nursing training program, I discovered that NCLEX is a notch higher. You see, it opens up the nursing practice to so many things which previously you wouldn't have been familiar or aware of. And so I've continued to practice in the message department, and I've also been going on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, especially there is stuff there on NCLEX, which in a way keeps me in line, with the president nursing practice, which is in the US. And I've also been doing a bit of studying on my own, so that I don't remain the sameness as I was before I did the NCLEX.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so and before this we were talking about some of the challenges before we started this. But what's been the most challenging part of your journey so far? And maybe let's start with Chuck, and then we'll go to Yonella and Cephas, and then McLean. So in the order of where you are in your journey. So Chuck, what's been the most challenging part so far?
Yes, as Bilar, it will be taking IELTS exam because on my first day, I wasn't able to reach the required score for my speaking skill. So I had a certain skill, which is speaking. And fortunately, I was able to pass on the second attempt. So IELTS is one of the most difficult stage during the process. But stop us to reach our dreams in life. And I told to myself that I need to keep positive, that I will be able to pass this exam, which is the IELTS. And yeah, I think it's the most challenging part.
I think there's probably a lot of people that feel that way, like that the English exam, no matter which one they take, is a challenge. I think that's why the PTE got to be such a hot topic,
That's right.
because
Mhm.
people think that it's easier sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, just a shout out, if you haven't checked out Carrie's Corner, visit, please watch Carrie's Corner on Thursdays. She helps with all English exams, and she will help you if you're worried about it.
That's right. Yeah, and I actually took PT before, but then since Tennessee actually that English exam is the required for for Tennessee, so I need to take other exam, which is IELTS.
But here you are, right? You've done it. You're
Yeah,
a success.
yeah, that's right.
Cross that hurdle.
Yeah.
Yunella, how about you? What has been the most challenging part so far of the journey for you?
It was the same issue. And very good. Although I thought that NCLEX exam will be a hard exam, and it was, but if you study, you can pass over. For me, it was a big challenge to take IELTS because this score with 7 in speaking, it was so hard for me to take it. And I couldn't take another exam in Romania face-to-face for speaking, which should be. It was just for I know PT and another exam can be easier, but if you have centers in your country, if not, you need to travel and to pay a lot of money. But thanks God, I could get this, and I think now it's the period of the time when challenging it's so high, because it's nothing what I can do. It's just waiting, and you feel like you don't have power to move this visa bulletin further. But you just have to wait. This can be a big challenge also.
Yeah, just waiting, just the patience. How about you,
And about
Cephas? What's
Carrie,
been the
yes, she's the
oops?
best for
Yeah, yeah. Everybody watch Carrie.
yeah, in
She's
the
great. If you
connection
haven't
also.
watched her, you should watch her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cephas, what about you? What's been the biggest challenge for you?
Just as the first two speakers have talked about, passing the IELTS has been a challenging one. But then we were able to, to me, I didn't take the NCLEX that difficult because it's nursing, even though I learned a lot of new things when I started a journey. It helped me open my eyes a lot to a lot of things. It seems more or less like a how I put it in Ghana here is like a medical doctor, the work of a medical doctor. The NCLEX put me through all those things, but it was easy for me because it's science, and then I've been practicing for some time. But the IELTS became something, even though I've been speaking English from childhood all the way to my university level, but it was still difficult to passing the IELTS. The demand and the time allocated to questions were so small that you find it difficult to answer questions on time. Uh, Going forward, after those passing through those hurdles, uh, the waiting period, this time I am now, is the most challenging one for me. It's not easy waiting. I've been waiting for this post NCLEX. It's been 2 years now, and it's not been easy waiting. However, I find myself doing some other things by assisting people going through the NCLEX journey and then teaching them to pass in the NCLEX, and then I find solace in doing that, and I'm so happy with being helping people and putting a smile on their faces. So we'll keep on doing this plus bedside nursing, and then taking some short courses to wait for the time. I know, inshallah, by the grace of God, our time will come, and then we'll also go through successfully.
I think that's something that a lot of folks in this group have in common. I think there's a lot of people here who have reached out to help other people with what you've accomplished and how you did it. And some really great questions that I'm going to ask you in just a little bit from the group about about the process and information you can share. But McLean, tell us, for you now with your visa in your hand, what has been the most challenging part for you?
I think for myself, the most challenging part has to do with immigration. In terms of NCLEX and IELTS, I didn't face any difficulties as such because just like what Sifa said, NCLEX is all about nursing. Though you meet new things which maybe you didn't know before, but the fact that it is nursing, it wasn't much difficult for me. And even the out part, it wasn't even difficult because I even wrote the computerized version of the out. Yeah, I preferred that one, of which most people from the nursing field, they don't go for the computer-based examination, but that is the one which I set for. The immigration part now, I think that one now, it has been the most challenging part, especially the waiting period. I started this journey around August 2020. I wrote my NCLEX on the 6th of September 2021. Then I started immigration around March, April, somewhere there, 2022. I finished the NVC, the case complete, November 2022. So I had to wait from November 2022 to February 2024 for me to be given a slot, at the embassy for the interview. So it's almost like I had to wait for over a year just to be scheduled for the interview. So that's one. That was the most challenging part because the waiting period was just too much. I had to wait patiently. Almost every day you'll be like checking your email to see if there is an email, which is saying that you have been given a slot at the embassy. Every month, yeah, you have to look for the visa bulletin to see if there are any positive changes. And when finally this year interviews started to be slotted, that is when things became a bit easy for us. So for me, yeah, this the last part, especially the scheduling of the interview, it took way too long because it was 1 year, 1 year 3 months, yeah, for me to receive that email that you have now been scheduled for the interview at the Harare embassy.
Yeah. And I think Jessica even posted a note that like the waiting's really hard. And I think
Yeah.
that's the hardest part. It seems
Yeah,
like that's
that's
the
the
hardest
hardest
part.
part.
Because it's not just you most of the time, right? It's your family too, and you're trying to make plans and think about what the future is going to be like, and you just don't know. But it sounds like each one of you have found some really good things to do while you're waiting. McLean, I know you're helping a bunch of people. That there's a lot of people that talk to you that you've helped support during their immigration journey, and it sounds like there's a lot of good work to do that you all have done in preparing to transition to being a nurse in the U.S. And learning, and there's a lot of other things. There's some other questions here that I don't think we're going to get to because y'all have had such good answers. And I'd like to talk. There's been some really good questions that have come in through Facebook, so I want to make sure that we take time to answer some of those questions. One that's really easy, I'm just going to answer, is how to join the company. And so at WorldWide, we're a direct hire agency. And so we help connect all of our nurses with direct hire positions in the US. And if you are interested, please go to our website and apply. And we are more than happy to get a recruiter to help you and look at your experience and see what employers that you currently qualify for. And super happy to help you with that. And then I think there were some questions, and I'll maybe try to go in the order of the process. Somebody asked about like the NCLEX. So like, how did you take the NCLEX? And did you go through an agency? Did you do it by yourself? Did you study for it? How did you get the knowledge that you needed to pass the NCLEX? I don't know. Maybe there's a couple of folks who want to speak to this. Maybe Yanela, I know a little bit about your NCLEX journey. So do you want to talk a little bit about like how did you take the NCLEX and what resources did you use?
Yes. First of all, I started to check online what's mean this NCLEX exam because I didn't know anything, and I started from zero. And then I found some, groups of nurses from the whole world, and I tried to go in these Telegram groups or WhatsApp groups and to ask more. Finally, I found that I need to prepare a lot, and I found about Kaplan. I found what mean Saunders book, and I tried to study, and then I tried to buy some questions like QBanks just to exercise and to see how is an exam. And finally, I found boot camp, which really helped me because I had a new generation exam, and I wanted just to go, but we don't have a center in our country, and I needed to fly London. This was the closest center. So I did all the steps by myself, checking online, having another nurses around who were traveling or who was involved in NCLEX exam exactly like me. And I went to the exam and I passed, and then I contacted your agency after I passed
Awesome.
NCLEX.
Cephas, how about you? How did you prepare for the NCLEX exam?
Okay, it's been, I've heard about NCLEX for a long time, and I decided to contact some agencies about it. The first I did was 2017. I contacted Avant, and they were willing to go forward with me. However, at the time I was planning to go to travel to Canada for my for some courses in Canada, so I didn't pay attention. Then finally, 2021, I decided to take the course. So I started asking questions, and then somebody told me about a senior of mine who has taken the NCLEX and passed. So I quickly contacted him, and then he told me what he used. And I'm one person, I don't like to combine a lot of materials. No, I want to go with one at a time. So when he gave me the Sanders, he called it Encles Bible. So he gave it to me, and then I started learning it. Alongside, he gave me two options for the question bank. He said UWorld or Archer. Archer was quite cheaper, so I went for Archer. And because I went for Archer, whilst solving questions, a colleague also went and said, he came back and said, you know what? The questions are just like what the Archer is giving us. So I would tell you to stick to the Archer. So I decided to be with Archer. I used Archer and the Sanders and prepared throughout with these two materials. Some people recommend other things along the line, but when I'm getting closer to the exam and you are giving me a new thing, I don't want to go for it. So I stick to what I have, and I went. At the time we were writing 145, I ended at 75, and that is it. I passed. It was a nice feelings. It has been the happiest day of my life to up to date. I'm so happy to go through it, and I like it.
I mean, it's a big accomplishment, right? Like that's a huge, huge accomplishment. So congratulations to all of you and everyone who's watching that has done that, passed the NCLEX. You know, especially if English is not your first language, like even harder. It's hard for nursing students here too, right? So it's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking about like the cost. So, you know, the cost of the NCLEX, the traveling to take the NCLEX, the English exam, visa screen, you know, there's a lot of costs involved.
Yeah.
And maybe this one will go to Chucky and McLean. How did you plan and prepare for that cost to, you know, even just to get the process started to come to the US? McLean, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, the NCLEX is very expensive. Yeah, to be honest with you, it involves a lot of money. But I think looking from the background, like where most of us are coming from, we have made it mandatory for us to sacrifice because we have realized that, you know, there is no way we can be able to reach the heights that we would want to get in life. So it's all about sacrificing, because at the end of the day, if you don't do that, there is no way you're going to wake up, you know, one day with all the money for all these costs. So what I did, what I know most of us do here, you prepare this the process stage by stage. You see, you start with the CGFNS registration. Back then when we started, it was a bit cheaper. I think it was around, 265. Yes. Though these days it's now 485. The cost has been going up, almost on a yearly basis. But when we started, it's not like most people were doing this process. I think that is the reason why, the cost, especially for CGFNS, was that low, because not everyone was doing it then. But then all of a sudden, most people, when they realized that, a group, especially from my hospital, had passed, they started to join in. But like I said, we had to sacrifice. You had to do these things one thing at a time. After having passed the NCLEX, then you would move on to the English proficiency test, be it the IELTS or the OET. And I understand these days there is now PTE, which is a bit cheaper. So it's all about you sacrificing from the few dollars that you get. You just set aside money in pieces, in bits and pieces. And as for like the question banks, you go for the less costly ones, like the Archer NCLEX review. That one is got subscriptions which are a bit lower and affordable. Then obviously from YouTube and Telegram, you would use the resources from there, which are free.
Okay, great. And then Chuck, how about you?
I know NFLX is very expensive, so I'm also thinking that how could I pay those fees for me to be able to NFLX exam. So I'm very glad my sister, wherein they were the one who actually shouldered almost all of the expenses for me to be able to take the exam. So in return, what I did is I really reviewed well for me to be able to pass my NCLEX to review centers, and also doing extra reading to other resources like Simple Nursing, and also I purchased some Q&A samples like Archer, and I'm glad that I was able to. I made it, like I passed my NCLEX last year.
So Chuck had a secret weapon. He had resources that helped him, which is awesome. And I think we're going to keep going with a couple of questions. We may run out of time. It's been so great, but so we may have to do this again. We ran out of time last time too. Okay, so one of the questions that came up, and I think everyone has talked a little bit about the waiting, but I'll just sort of speak to the visa bulletin and retrogression. So the June visa bulletin, I'm sure everyone knows, came out, and the date did not move. And we'll just see it. We'll see what happens. I think it's positive that it didn't go backwards. But there's also, if you want a professional immigration attorney's opinion, Ron Hoppy did a webinar, last week or the week before, maybe, about like the state of retrogression right now in the visa bulletin. And I think it's still very relevant because the date didn't move. And so, please go on our YouTube channel and feel free to watch that for more details from an expert. I just work in recruiting. I'm not a retrogression expert, but I do appreciate the waiting that everyone is doing. And I think today was a good time to learn all kinds of good things that you can do to help set yourself up for success when you get to the US while you're in the waiting process. I think some nursing questions that came through. What do you think are the most challenging aspects of meeting patients' needs? And maybe we'll start with Chuck.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that for me, ma'am?
Yeah, what are the most challenging aspects of meeting patients' needs? It's one of the questions that came in from Facebook.
Meeting the patient's need. Sometimes we encounter like behavior of the significant others. Like we need also to understand where they're coming from. So, for example, um, if we are in a bedside, sometimes they have questions that we need also to attend regarding with the nursing intervention that we are giving to them. So it is really important to for us to know what are those nursing care that we are giving to them. We need to know every detail of the medications that we are also providing to every patient, so that if they have any question, we would be able to explain them well what are those drugs are being used, and if we have enough knowledge and enough of information, then we could be able to answer all these questions.
Okay, great. And then Yonella, how about you? What do you think is the most challenging aspects of meeting patients' needs?
As far as we know, nobody is coming in the hospital because they find a great pleasure. They come there because they have a need, a health need. We are there just to help them to pass over their issue, over their disease. Uh, as we know, the doctors are there just a short period of time, but we are there full time. And many times staying there to the bedside, just see people who are dying or who really need somebody to listen their problem. Although many of them know their situation and they understand that can be helped or not, they need somebody to be near. And it is a big challenge to listen everyone, to feel sometimes that you can feel just their medical problem, but you can make a miracle, but you can listen them, you can make them to feel secure, with a friendly attitude, with a professional attitude. And many times I saw that patients which I took care of them, they were just smiling and they were so happy to see me, and I knew that my attitude can make a difference. And now I have an old man there in the hospital, and he wasn't in a good condition, but in the last few days he started to smile when he sees me, and I was so happy because um, he saw not just a nurse, not just a professional woman there. He saw me as a friend. He knew that in the next second I can do something just to help him.
That's great. Okay, so I think we're going to do just one more question for everyone. And then we're going to be pretty close to time. Okay, so last question. What is the key to staying positive during the long process? And maybe let's start with Cephas. Can you hear us, Cephas? Cephas, what is the key to staying positive during the long process?
Yeah, staying positive is just counting on your God, and as I said, staying by the bedside and keep on doing what you have been doing long before, so that you'll be updated with new knowledge, updated with your patient care, and because caring for patient might not be, as long as you keep on practicing nursing skills here, you can be that will be useful for you when you get to the stage finally. So one has to just stay positive, being focused on the journey. However, you don't, this is as the American embassy will tell you, it's a privilege. It's not a right, So you just pray that one day that privilege will find you, so that you can also go. However, so for that reason, life still continues. So you keep on doing your work as you have been doing before, and then focus on your profession, because in the final day when you leave to the state, it's still the same profession you are going to practice. So why do you dump your profession and do different things because you think you are already in the queue of process of going to the US? The US needs you in the healthcare sector, and that's what you've chosen to do. So one has to just stay positive at the workplace, work hard, practice well, and then get the knowledge, and then keep on practicing the knowledge you are getting. And finally, when you find yourself, the transition, the orientation will be smooth, and then you make yourself happy finally when you get there.
Great advice. Okay, Chuck, what about you? What is the key to staying positive during the long process?
Well, for me, I always visualize what will be my life once I work there as a registered nurse in USA. So I'm always thinking of the greater opportunities that I will be able to have. And yeah, well, waiting is one of the hardest thing to do in this process, but as long as and not for nothing, right? So we need to give are optimistic all the time and trust the process. And as what they say, that dreams may be delayed but not denied. So our patience will be tests, but once we reach our dreams in life, I know we can say that it's worth it. And we just need to pray to God, and I know everything will fall into the right place and at the right time as well.
Yeah, also good advice. Okay, last but not least, Yonella, what's the key to staying positive?
For me, the key is motivation. Thinking of the motivation why I want to go in the States and why I do everything makes me to be positive, to stay positive, makes me as you, and I think Crystal said the last time, to enjoy this time with my family, with my friends, with my colleagues, and to enjoy even our food more, and thinking that soon we can work in the States in a better condition, with better options, and for our children to study. This makes me to be positive and to wait.
Good advice. The positivity, sometimes it's hard, and sometimes there's days where you probably don't feel as positive. But as long as you can get back on track and remember that long-term goal and stay motivated, and I think, like Stepha said, continue the work that you're doing at home right now, because it's the work that you're doing is important now too. It's super important, and it's going to help you be successful. So I think that's really great. Okay, thanks again to everyone who's joined us today on social media, and also to each one of our panelists. We appreciate your time and your insight. Really amazing. Just a couple things I want to mention before we sign off. It's Nurses Week, and we're doing a giveaway. So if you would like to share your thoughts on how nurses make a difference every day, please scan the QR code, and you can have a chance to win a $200 gift card. So that's exciting. Please participate. We'd love to hear from you. And then, as always, make sure that you like us on Facebook, and stay updated in all of the events that we do. Like us, and make sure that you follow us on all the social media channels. We also always have our Refer a Friend program. Some of the people on this call are some of our that you have heard from today are some of our best referrers. So refer your friends, and you can earn up to $250 when their petition is filed. Thank you again. Happy Nurses Week. Thank you for all that you do, nurses, here and around the world. And we'll talk to you soon. Everyone have a good evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are.